Hi everyone, welcome to my tutorial for today. I am at my friend Caia's place and she is a printmaker and designer and artist and painter and set dresser and prop master and
all of the above.
All of the above. So I'm super excited because we have a really amazing tutorial for you today. And Caia, how about you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yeah.
And how you got started?
Yeah, so my brand is called Spiraleyezdesigns, and basically as Michelle was saying, I'm a printmaker. So I hand carve textiles out of linoleum and wood blocks, and then I hand print them on fabric. So you can see the shirt I'm wearing now is the same stamp, basically printed twice. So today I'm going to show you how to make a t-shirt with a different design that I just made using a linoleum block. So I'm excited.
Awesome. So how do you actually make the linoleum block? Like what is the process of doing that?
So I can show you the one that we'll use today. And I can kind of show you an in-process one too. So I have this one's kind of a random, janky piece of linoleum. This is the final block that I created. So you can see I've created the shape, so the block itself is the shape ultimately. So you can kind of see where I cut it out of this other block. I like to use as much of the material as possible. So I carve directly into the linoleum to make the design. So this it's unfinished, but you can see it's much more intricate. So eventually I'll carve the edges out to create an actual shape, which is what I did with this one.
Awesome.
So all of the negative space everywhere that I've carved will come out white. So everything that remains will be inked up, which I'll show you how to do. So basically where I've carved, the ink doesn't hit. So that's why it turns out white. So you'll get a sense of it in a bit.
Awesome. So all you need is basically linoleum. And where do you buy this from?
So you can buy different types of linoleum blocks at most art stores. And if you're in LA, and actually they have locations all over the country. My favorite store is Artist and Craftsman Supply. And Speedball is a really good brand that sells different types of blocks. So some of them have a wood piece underneath. They're a little bit more firm, so you can see it's wood and then a layer of thicker linoleum. This one is kind of more like rubber, so it's like easy to carve.
Right. And
then you can just use straight up wood too, like plywood. You might want to treat it a little more. That's kind of a different tutorial, but most art stores you can buy printmaking blocks from.
So I have a question because growing up, we used to do potato stamps.
Oh, I know about that. That's a good beginner's.
I was thinking if people don't have access to linoleum like this, or maybe you just want to practice a little bit before you invest in some materials, you can use a potato and
Definitely.
you actually just peel it and then cut it in half, right? And then carve it.
Yep, so it really shows, I love that because it shows you how simple the process can be. It's basically relief printmaking is what it's called, where you're carving away into a surface and then you're using what's remaining to collect ink and then stamp it. Okay, so we're gonna start by getting our ink, and this one's almost done, but I'm gonna put it on our little clipboard. So I'm just gonna make sure it's a nice even row like that. Then we're gonna take our roller and just start rolling. So I'm picking up the roller as I come down, because if you just keep doing this, see how it's getting really thick in the one place. So we wanna pick it up every once in a while and just get a good layer going. So you can kind of hear it when it starts to pick up a little bit. This is a good start. So then we've got that layered up, and then we're gonna take the block itself. I kind of have like my dirty section and my clean section, because once you start printing, it's really easy to get ink like all over the place, and you don't want it to end up on your shirt. So it's really good to have the inking up section, and then it transfers onto the clean area. So we'll see how clean we can keep it. So I'm kind of just going back and forth between the block and the inking station. So we really just want to make sure we get a nice even coverage. So then we're ready to place it. So this is where you want to basically just have a plan. So I kind of know where I'm gonna go with it, because once you put it down, it's down, and you really want to be confident about your print and where you place the block, because otherwise it's gonna look really messy, and if you pick it up a little bit, it'll look like a smudge. So you really just want to be confident, place it, rub it, and then take it off. So now we have our clean shirt. I'm gonna kind of make sure the surface is really smooth, because I'm gonna start up here in this corner, because we're gonna cover this whole shirt with this design. So hopefully everything goes well. I'm gonna put, with this block, I'm gonna put all edges, kind of let it smoothly go down. And then we'll take our pressure, and I'm just kind of rubbing it, not even rubbing it, just really stamping it. There are other ones where I do the opposite, where I put the shirt on top of the block, but this one is so flexible that it kind of works out nicely, because I can actually aim where I'm going versus having to aim with the shirt, if that makes any sense. So I'm really making sure I got every corner, because again, once you pull it off, that's kind of it. Sometimes I check the corner, looks pretty good. Some inconsistencies, but that's kind of what's cool about it. Okay. So we're gonna do the next stamp. Rolling it up. From here on out, it's really just step and repeat. So just getting into the groove, getting every corner. Okay, so this one, I'm gonna start to make an actual pattern. So I'm getting the first corner and laying it down as we go. So this is kind of the moment of truth in printmaking, where you really gotta be consistent with your technique, because yeah, this is kind of where it all goes down, and you'll see what the result is. You never really know, but that's kind of what I love about printmaking. You kind of have to lose. It's a balance of having lots of control and giving up control and knowing how to adapt. Just so you guys are aware of what makes a print, what's happening here is basically I could have carved deeper, which, you know, I kind of like the texture that it gives, but that's how you would reduce that noise, is by carving deeper wherever the ink is kind of picking up in these random spots. So when you, yeah, there we go. So we're just kind of creating a nice even layer. You don't want it too thick. Sometimes, I'm just going to point out, at the end of the tube, there might be these little chunks. So you just want to get them out. So we'll just kind of pick this guy out, put him over there.
Oh. The freestyle right now.
Oh yeah.
Cool.
Get that muscle in there.
Yeah, I like how it's a little bit like not faded, but it's not as, you know, super
bold.
inky. Yeah. I think that really makes it special.
Yeah, exactly. It's the inconsistencies that give it character, right? Yeah, which way are you gonna go? Really freestyling it.
I am freestyle. Oh my gosh, I'm like...
It's like a puzzle piece.
It is. Oh, what do you think?
I think the other way you were closer. Or no, the other way. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
That way. Yeah.
Let's just do it like this.
Yeah.
That's cool, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Close together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's starting to create its own negative space. Yeah, that one came out even darker. Okay, so the next thing I want to show you guys is just cleanup. So there's some kind of rules and things you want to think about. So the first thing you want to do, basically, it's cool because this ink is also oil-based, but it does wash away with water and soap. So you just want to really fully clean this roller. This part right here is what can collect ink a lot, and if it gets so deep that it starts touching the roller, then it can cause buildup, and then when you're rolling on your ink, it can really affect it and not be as clean as you want. So you really want to make sure you wash every corner, get the sides. You just want to make sure it's back to the nice kind of tan color that it was, and really just make sure it's normal that it's going to get some buildup, obviously, over time, but you want to reduce that as much as possible. So just really fully clean this. And then, yeah, same thing, just soap and water. I like to scrape with a palette knife to get the bulk of it off, and then wipe it on a paper towel, and then toss that in the trash before just soaking this in the sink. And then what I also like to use is a toothbrush, because it just makes it really fast and easy to wipe this off in the water. And it's especially great to get everything off your block, because same thing with the roller, you really want to make sure that there's no buildup of ink in your block, because it can just affect, you know, you don't want there to be buildup where you've carved away, obviously. The one thing I actually did notice with this block is I think maybe I was cleaning a little bit too roughly, so there was a little bit that came off the part that I really want to stay. So that's something to consider, you know, just being still soft with how you're removing the ink. And also it might be an argument for a harder linoleum block. So that's kind of the stuff that you're going to want to experiment with when you're getting really into it. So every material has its different factors that you want to think about. So yeah, just basically you can clean up with soap and water, let it dry. This is a good little detailer, and that's about it. So the shirt is done, and as far as tips go for next steps, again, I'll say that this ink, Speedball fabric block printing ink, is perfect because it just sets itself. So normally you would have to heat set a print like this when you're screen printing, so that it doesn't wash out when you wash it. But this, all it has to do is sit at room temperature for a week. So basically, once it's dry, you just don't wash it for a week and it's good to go. After that, you just throw it in the laundry on the cold cycle. That's the one thing. Cold and tumble dry. You know, a mild soap is good. And, you know, maybe just wash it not every single time you wear it when it's actually dirty, just to maintain the richness of the color. But overall, they hold up really well. I mean, I've washed this one a bunch of times and it's still, I think the fade was already part of the print, so you can see it holds up pretty well. So yeah, I think that is pretty much it. You just kind of let it dry it'll be dry after maybe a day and a half, and you're good to go. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I was super excited to share my process with you guys. I had so much fun teaching Michelle and you all how to make your own t-shirt using hand-printed textiles. So if you want to see more of that, follow me on Instagram at Spiraleyezdesigns, and that's Spiral Eyes with a Z. So I will see you on Instagram. Thank you so much.
So this is my final shirt. I really love how it turned out. It wasn't as difficult as I thought because Caia gave really fantastic specific instruction on how to give a nice clear print. You know, this is a kind of an older t-shirt, so I kind of like that it looks a bit vintage and faded, and I really hope you get to try this at home because it is so fun to do and it makes a really unique gift. So thank you, Caia, for showing me how to do this today, and hope you stay tuned for my next tutorial.